Good evening, everyone. Let me see. Oh, we actually have people muted and stuff. This is amazing. Okay, unmute real quick to make sure that I can be heard. All right, perfect.
You can be heard.
There you go. So, guys, I would send out any last minute text. We'll be getting started here in 2 minutes. And let your teams know. I know anytime we have something new, we normally have to go in and let the team know what exactly we have going on. We'll be getting started in just a couple minutes. So how early do people jump on this call? Because I was just trying to make sure that everything was working, and we already had people on here.
I just signed on like 3 minutes too, just to make sure. Yeah, like 3 minutes ago.
There you go.
Yeah, us too, about 3 minutes ago.
Perfect. We'll have somebody say, I got on 59 seconds ago. So guys, again, we'll be getting started in 1 minute. If you have any team at all, I would recommend making it a habit to, one, let your team know any kind of calls that are going on. If you want them to be on it, one, you want to be on it. Number two, you want to make sure that you are sending out a text and let people know a couple minutes before and say, hey, we have a, whatever the Zoom might be prior to. So it is 8:00. It'll be interesting. Normally on our team Zooms, on our Monday Night Mindset, we normally have roughly around 200 people jumping on there. Yet we're switching everybody up. A lot of people might know that, they might not know that our Zoom address has changed and all that. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens. So for those of you all that don't know me, my name is Chris Schweda. I'm out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And I'm excited to be on here to be able to share with everyone, yet also a little nervous from a perspective of now I got to watch what I say and stuff like that because I have no filter. So as you get to know me, I give you guys permission to take whatever you hear and use it if you get value out of it. And if you don't agree with it, that's okay too. Yet, try not to get plugged in by things, right? Because what I've learned over the years of just personal development is that I take what I want from people that I get value from. And if I can get one piece of value from someone and other things that they say might plug me in or I might not agree with, instead of my energy going weird, I just basically ignore that part and I take the value from the stuff that I do get. So you are about to hear from someone that has no filter, that says whatever in the world comes to my head. I like to operate out of flow. I don't plan exactly what I'm going to say, and I'm going to go over this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say that, because I believe that, for me at least, the more I do that, the less authentic it is. And, we joke around in our group and we talk about we have two rules. Number one, be normal. In other words, be you. Because we're out there building a business, and if all of a sudden you start, promoting something and you're weird and you're acting different than what your friends know, then you're a weirdo, and the last thing they want to do is be weird, right? So they're like, man, if I have to change like my friend did, now it's weird. I don't want to do that, right? So we want to make sure that we stay normal, right? And then rule number two is you have to have fun. And why do we have that rule? Like, because can we all agree that, people have jobs already? And if they have jobs, a lot of times they don't look at their job as being fun. So we don't want to create another place of no fun. So as we are getting going here, I also recommend, if you can, unless you're naked, have your camera on. I mean, if you want to pick your nose or something like that, you can turn your camera off for that. But it's best if you have your camera, because people read off of energy. So in communication is primarily 55% of communication is physiology. So it's the way that people see us. It's the way that people perceive us, and the way that we come across and the way we communicate is through body language. 58%, 55% of me. 38% is our tonality, the way that we phrase things. And only 7% is words. So I recommend, one, if you're going to be on these Zooms, to have your camera on, because other people, I'm telling you what people do, because I do it. They press the little button, and they're kind of checking out who's on here, who's participating, who's actually listening, and who's not. And see, this is the thing. If any of you all have kids, like, kids do follow the example way more for what you do versus what you say. It's just the way that it is. So if we're going to build a team here, we want to make sure that we're leading by example. And if you think that your team should be on, then it makes sense for you to be on as well. So people are talking about vaping and all kinds of fun stuff over here. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to, what you're going to get here tonight is you're going to hear some stories. And guys, we will be mixing this up, and we're going to be bringing in some other leaders and interviewing some people through the process and all that. But the goal of the call is to put you in the right mindset to go out there and create success. Let me see. We have some naughty unmuters out here. Oh my gosh. So if you unmute your phone, I'm going to yell at everybody and say, who's the naughty unmuters? But that doesn't mean you got to get all upset. Just press the mute button, or I'm going to try to mute all. So, and that's joking. So with that being said, guys, so the goal here is to help you get in the mindset of what it takes to go out there and win. And I know we have a lot of different leaders in this company. And if you hear anything, I want to be very clear about this. If we start talking about systems at all, or we start talking about some of the model of what we do in the team, and something does not align with what you guys are doing already, and your leaders might do things a little bit different, well, guess what? Talk to your leaders and say, hey, what are we doing here? Just, you want to make sure that you don't get sidetracked, right? And what I like to try to explain it as is that in college, like, you go into college with a major and a minor. Can we agree? Like, you don't just go in there and just, you go in there like thinking, hey, I want to be this, but you might take these other courses. But the systems stay the same, right? In what we do. But there might be other little minors that other teams might be doing that might be a little bit different than what you guys are doing. But at the end of the day, we're sharing a cup of coffee. It's pretty simple. It's a cup of coffee. So it's not something all weird. It's a cup of coffee, and we are, and we're doing it. What you'll hear us talk about, excuse me, is through a process that we like to keep it so simple that whatever you did, your pupil can do literally minutes after you did it. So you want to keep it simple. So in business, especially network marketing, it's about getting a large group of people to do a few simple things over and over and over again. And that's how you create success. Now, you will also hear us talk about the 80%ers, the 5%ers, and the 15%ers. And what does that mean? And guys, if you hear that and you start, it's not a matter of judging yourself like, I'm a whatever and feel bad about it. But when I say the 80%ers, 80% of the people weren't really looking to do a side business. They weren't really looking to join something else, to go make extra money and all that. And many people, that's not what they want. Then you have the 15%ers that they are looking for a business and they want to make a certain amount of money. It might be a few $1,000s a month. And then you have the 5%ers that like, they're all about the business. That's what they want to do. And basically everything is about boom, money, 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 money. So in the language that we use and what we try to do is mix this call up to be information that resonates with the masses, but then also have enough meat and content to resonate with the people that would be considered the leaders of the company. Okay, so just know that if something is a little bit, advanced, and you're just looking to make an extra $500 a month, that's cool too. Just take what you can. So one of the things that we talk a lot about, and this, I had to preference y'all because I'm just going to be real here, is that people are freaking crazy, right? And since people are crazy, and this is the funny part is that whoever you are, whatever screen you're behind, if you can see yourself or not, and you point that way, like you're one of the craziest out there. I'm just letting you know that up front. And I'm sharing that because if you understand that people are crazy and that you're crazy, it's a lot easier to deal with people and not get plugged in because we're in the relationship building business. And if we're in the relationship building business and you're dealing with people and people are crazy, doesn't it make sense that we understand that people are crazy? So let me share an example here, because what you're going to get a lot of is the fact that we basically, in fact, I want to ask you all, I want you to point where you see me, point where you see me. Go out there and point. So many of you all are pointing at the screen and you're pointing and you're going, I see you right there. Well, this is the reality. You really see me right here. In other words, you are painting a picture in your mind and you're telling yourself a story in your mind right now based on what some of y'all are going, I don't know if I'm gonna listen to this guy. And some of y'all are gonna say, wow, I love this stuff. And everybody's gonna be telling themselves a different story based on their point of view and based on their background and based of where, I got you up on the big TV, right? But you might see me, you might think that you see me there, but what happens is when those visions come into your brain, you're painting a picture, right? Has anybody ever been on the phone with somebody and you don't know who that person is and you're painting a picture or a story of what the person looks like? Because people think in pictures. So let me share a little picture, a little mind picture of how we're all a little crazy, right? Because we're going to be talking a lot about how to change the story to create the success that you desire. So last weekend, or in the last week, we went to Florida. So every year, my wife and our family go on vacation with her family, which happens to be her sister and their kids and all that. And this year, and I also do different beach vacations with different friends from the team. For instance, the McLeans. They've done beach vacations with us. We take the boat up and we do that. Well, my wife goes to tell me that this year, we're only going to be able to do one because with all the stuff going on in the environment, our graduations for our kids got pushed back, which means their summer camp for my daughter's new school. My son just graduated. My daughter's going into high school, and now her camp and all got shifted. So she's like, we're only going to be able to do one vacation. So I'm like, well, we can't just do one vacation because I want to do vacation with friends and family. So I start inviting people. Right? So I'm talking to the McLeans and I'm telling them about, oh, we're going to go on vacation. We're bringing the boat. It's going to be great, whatever. And they're like, well, I want to share a room with somebody. So the next thing you know, I'm sharing with Ricky Durant and his family and telling them we're going on vacation. We're going to the beach and we're renting a place and we're getting a condo. You should come rent a condo and share it with the McLeans. And then he's like, well, did you tell Ian? And then Ian's like, well, so I tell Ian, and then Ian is like, well, yeah, we're going too. So now we have my family, we have my sister-in-law's family, we have the Durant family, we have the McLean family, and now we have the Prather family. So now I'm like, well, I'm only bringing one boat. We need to bring more stuff. So I'm now talking about I need to bring the jet ski and I need to bring the boat and we're going to bring the fishing boat and we're going to do this. And then my wife is watching this stuff unfold. And she was, oh my gosh. And she's like, you just shanghaied our family vacation. Like, you know, I'm sitting there and she knows me, right? So like down here in New Orleans, there was certain things shut down, but not my house. It was very festive, to say the least. So she knows how I am. Like, we'll be out on the boat and literally we'll get over here at 9 o'clock at night and I have 10 people with me and we're barbecuing or we're boiling crawfish or whatever. So she's picturing this party in our room with her sister sharing a room with us. And they're kind of private people and stuff. So she has this brilliant idea, which was smart, but it's a brilliant idea of she's gonna like kind of set me up and let me know that we're not gonna be having parties in our condo every night because their sister, they're not gonna be okay with that, right? So she keeps saying stuff and she's planting little seeds. Well, while she's telling me this stuff, I'm sitting here thinking like, she doesn't want me to have fun. Like she's saying I can't hang out with my friends. Like, you know, like we can't be whatever, blah, blah. So now I'm feeling like I can't have anybody over at our place. Like I think like, you know, I'm gonna have to go on vacation and I just have to go away from them and stuff like that. If I want to go have fun, I need to go hang out with my friends and stuff and nobody can come over. So I'm putting out this weird energy and I'm like telling, because I did it, by the way, I'm like, after we got in on the boat, I'm like, let's go to our place and barbecue. And she's like, we already talked about this. So I put out this weird energy and I'm telling them like, look, you know, I can't have people over. We can't have, you know, so I take it and I paint a picture and a story that like Gestapo and like, and this is like, you know, Captain No Fun and like, I'm not allowed to do anything. And then I'm putting this energy out and then, you know, Sean and them tell something and I kind of mentioned something to Ricky and then I'm like, Ricky, hey, you want to get together? Because it was the first night they got in and he's like, I'm not going down there to go hang out with Jill. She's mad at everybody. And so then I like realized, I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? She's mad. And I say something to my wife about it. It's like, you know, it's kind of messed up that nobody can come visit us. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, are you crazy? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I never said that you can't have anybody come over and people can't come and have a cup of coffee or, you know, not all 20 something at once is all I said. Late at night like you do, because if you're coming off the boat, it's nighttime. And what you do, which you did do while we were here, you invited everybody over. And the point is, guys, is that she said one thing and I painted a mental picture of all this other stuff. I told myself all these different stories of, you know, the way that it is. And the stories were not true. And I'm sharing this because, guys, every single one of us on this call are telling ourselves stories on a day-to-day basis. We tell ourselves stories that are basically, can y'all all agree that that was a little crazy? Like what I did and like how I created all that stuff? And I'm sharing that because you're just as crazy. Like y'all are nuts too. But the thing is it's about having awareness. It's about being open enough to learning from your stories and learning from what is it that I'm telling myself? What is it that I believe? What is true? What is not true? And for me, what I had to learn was that life is an illusion and that pretty much it's all based on what my belief system is, based on past experiences, based on all these different things that I've learned or what I've been told. And then that becomes my reality. And I start painting a picture based on my experiences. So one, you have to recognize that what if the things that you tell yourself, about the business, about your relationships or whatever, what if they're not necessarily the way that you see them? What if we can shift the way that we feel changed the story. And guys, it was the craziest thing. So now here goes another one. So my son asked me, hey, Dad, I'm going to go run to this sandwich place. Let's just call it Subway, because everybody knows Subway, but it was named something else and I can't even remember. And it's like where you make a sandwich based on what you like. And my son orders me some cold cut type sandwich that is like absolutely not what I would order. And I'm sitting here thinking, you're 18 years old, you've been eating with me for 18 years, and you order me a sandwich that is nothing that I would ever order, ever. And I was so upset the fact that his awareness was whatever. So I was really aggravated by it. Like, I wanted to have a talk about it. And then come to find out, based on, and guys, and I want to share this because I've done years upon years of personal development, audio programs, books, everything you can imagine. I have probably over $100,000 worth of personal development in our house right now that I've spent over the years, from courses that I paid for, that I've gone to. I have a closet filled with notebooks, probably from the ground to about 3 foot high, of notebooks of notes that I've taken over the last 20 years in this industry. So you would think that when it comes to parenting, that I might have a little common sense or something, but it doesn't really matter how much personal development you do, that you can still screw up and do some things. And there's been some ways on how I communicated with my son that made him create a story that had him feel in a certain way. So the funny part is I go to talk to him about this, on how I'm upset about the story, and then come to find out he's created a whole story based on how I feel about him that is absolutely not the truth. And, because I want him to do certain things, he thinks that it's all about, what I want versus what he wants. And his perspective of it is absolutely different than my intentions of certain things. So I'm sharing this, guys, because we're all a little crazy, right? And so the funny part about it is that because of this situation, we were able to repair a relationship that I didn't know was necessarily damaged. That I didn't understand that certain things that I did made him feel a certain way and made him create a certain story. And I'm sharing this because every one of you all are creating a story. So let's talk a little bit. And I just wanted to share those mental pictures, because I want you to think about, what stories are you creating about your life? What stories are you creating, or what stories are you telling yourself that are holding yourself back? Because when you first start to have an awareness of what this is and that it's even going on, then you can start to fix it and start to repair it. So with that being said, what y'all are also going to hear, like I always know, like when I start going off on certain tangents, my wife comes in and she looks at me and I'm like, what? And I just know that I'm saying something too off the wall or whatever else. And then, you'll hear me just stop. She came in, I looked to see if I said anything wrong, but apparently I was okay tonight, but it will happen. I'm going to kind of get yelled at and stuff. It's fun. So with that, guys, how do you use this to apply in the business? Well, I want to be very clear. When we got started here, we basically had a very clear vision of what we wanted to create. So let's talk about that. This weekend, we were also able to get together. Look, I built a relationship with many people that are sideline in this company. And when I mean sideline, they're in a different organization that we don't benefit from working with each other, but we still get value from each other. Like I see Nick Mehert, I always say his last name wrong, but he's somebody, I don't even know how to say it. You could even tell me, it's like Mehert, whatever. But at any rate, I built a relationship with Nick, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him. I talk to Maria often. We were able to spend some time. I know that Ricky has some other relationships with Lori and Brittany, which I have a relationship with Brittany as well, and Joseph, and we able kind of talk about what do we feel about the business and what was it that attracted us here in the very beginning. So let's talk about that real quick. Because guys, when we talk about the culture that we wanted to create, we talk about what we want our business to look like. We had very clear vision of what we wanted that to look like. And I'm gonna share this from my perspective. So if you got a different perspective, by the way, like Shanna and Lisa, very good friends of mine, Tommy Wyatt, and I know we have a lot of different organizations, so if I didn't mention your name or whatever, there is no offense whatsoever. But what I do want to share is what we've been talking about is the vision that we started with was one team, one dream, and what we wanted that to look like. And we wanted to create an environment where people felt love and connection. We wanted to create an environment where people felt like, you know what, even if I get one customer or one promoter or whatever, that I brought value, that what I did made a difference, and that I'm not going to be compared to that person that does 100 customers a month or whatever it might be. Because look, we talked about everybody comes in at a different place. And I'm sharing that because I want you to think about, what did you want when you came? What is it that why did you get started? Did you want to just get your product for free? You know, I heard a young lady the other day doing a training, and she was talking about all she wanted to do is get her product for free. When Brittany was sharing the other night, she was like, I just wanted to make an extra few $100s. That's all I wanted. And now her life has been drastically changed. So her and Joseph were talking about their vision and why they got started. And it's totally different than what's happened, but that's where they got started. So one is love and connection. In the relationship, guys, when I got started, I was at the lowest point of my life. I literally had gone from, by the way, I got started in this industry 20 years ago. I was not a huge success right off the bat. In fact, I was a poster child of what not to do. I was a horseshoer, spending my day under a horse's butt every day of my life. And I was sweating, and I was in a barn, and I stunk, and it was crazy. I made decent money. You know, in my early 20s, I made good money for what I was doing, working a few hours a day, and I was able to go fishing almost every day. And that's really what I wanted. I wanted to be able to have freedom. And that's why I picked being a blacksmith. And I was like, I'm going to go to school to be a vet. But then I started watching the life of the vets, and they didn't have a life. They were working so many hours. I was like, I think I'm going to just do the horseshoeing thing until I figure this out, right? So I was making what many would consider above middle class, right? Doing what I was doing, but I was not happy. And guys, I had big dreams. I had big aspirations, and that income was not getting me there. I don't know if any of you all can relate. So with that, when I saw this industry, I was like, this is amazing. You mean we can make money working from home, talking to people? Oh my gosh. So I was like, thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I got started, and they showed a system. And the company I picked, guys, was not an easy company. It wasn't as simple as sharing a cup of coffee. And I was taught some principles. For things to change, you need to change. For things to get better, you need to get better. And I was told I need to work on myself. And I was told that if I want my life to change, that I have to change who I am. And guys, that was the best thing that could have happened to me. But it also showed me some principles that if you have something that people have to go do all this personal development and learn sales skills and learn all these things before they can have success, that you're weeding out so many people and the average person cannot win. So when we got started here, we knew that we wanted to have something where the average person can win. And that was super important. So guys, I went from making no money, literally no money. And like 99% of you all would have quit if you made only $500 in your first year or so. You would have. Come on, let's admit it. Give me some ones in the comments if you would have quit if you only made $500 the whole time, right? So with that being said, I was taught the only way to fail is to quit. It's the only way to fail. And it takes the rest of your life to fail. So with that being said, I was going to stick and stay and get my pay. I'm going to learn this stuff and I'm going to figure it out. And I did. And finally, I got out of my way because I was telling myself a story. Well, as soon as I learn this, then I'm going to do it. As soon as I learn that, then I'm going to do it. As soon as this happens, then I'm going to do it. And guys, I want to share this because some of you all are getting ready to get ready. And sometimes you just have to take action now. So with that, we're talking about something simple with a cup of coffee. So you didn't have to go learn all the stuff that I had to learn. So by 2001, I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm ready to go out and make something happen. And I made a decision. And guys, I want to share this because when you make a decision that success is the only option, decision means death of all other options. There is no other option that it's going to happen. See, being flaky and like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then you talk to John and John says no. And you're like, I quit. Well, that's not a decision. That's basically like, yeah, I might do it. I might not do it. Your commitment and your like tenacity and on like, I will not be denied attitude. If you say, I'm going to make this happen no matter what, that's a decision. And like, oh my God, shipping didn't come, or this happened, or that happened, customer service was mean, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter if you make a decision. It doesn't matter. So guys, 2001, I literally went from making no money to $3,000 that very first month that I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired and made a decision. $3,000, boom. I'd never made less than that from that day forward. By 2005, I was a six-figure income earner. We've now been able to, enjoy a six-figure income in not only multiple companies, but multiple separate industries, alongside with traditional businesses as well. 2 traditional businesses I've been able to make a six-figure income in. And it came from the learning and the mindset that I got from being in this industry, just to let you guys know. It came from sticking and staying. So I wanted to share that because many of y'all, you don't know the story behind the story. And when you hear what we did and how fast we did it, many of us, you don't know the preparation that came behind the scenes, whether it was in this industry or not. There's always a story behind the story. So don't compare yourself or how fast you're going to someone else. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, because that's the only person that matters, is the person that you look at in the mirror. For you to become better than that person was yesterday. So now fast forward. I'm at a place where I'm literally, I got sick at the end of 15, not 5. At the end of 2015, I got sick. I've had a six-figure income since 2005. I saw the company I was in making changes to the point where I saw the writing on the wall, and I felt like staying was going to be like rearranging the chairs in the Titanic, and that's not smart. If the ship's going down, it's time to get off and swim, not rearrange the chairs like, oh, maybe if we move the deck chairs right here, we're going to be okay, right? No. I knew that I knew. Being an industry student for the last 20 years, I understood principles of building philosophies and knowing how to be able to see trends. And I just saw it going down based on bad decisions that the company was making, the leadership in that company, meaning the corporate team. So with that being said, I went to another company based on what they told me they were and what they're promised and what they said, and what I saw and what they said were 2 different things. So I had a real challenge building because I didn't want to build against my integrity or sell out who I am to go out and do something knowing that it's not in alignment with my core values. So with that being said, guys, we came here with a mindset. And what I can tell you about the Willitsons, Mark and Judy, and the way that they made not only me feel, but many of the other leaders on this call, was, one, they believed in us. They believed in me. And they knew that I had greatness within me, and I felt it. So with that, when we created our systems, and guys, I believe the story is very similar in the different teams in the company, because we have had a lot of communication. It might sound a little different, yet at the same time the same. But we knew that we had to create an environment on how we made people feel. So let's talk about that real quick. Number 1, love and connection. People want to be a part of something. Can we agree that with this lockdown and everything, and people feeling like total disconnection and social distancing and all that, that it makes us feel weird? Can we all agree with that? It's like, we want to feel that love and connection. We want to be around people. We want to connect with people. we want to feel important. We want to feel significance. So how do we do that? Like, how do we make people feel important? Well, guys, what we do is welcome calls. We do welcome calls with our new people to find out what their goals are, to find out what their dreams are, to find out what it is that they want and what that looks like to them. And guys, the purpose of the welcome call, and look, we know that some people don't want to do welcome calls. Like, they don't want to tell somebody this stuff. And that's okay. It's your business. You can do whatever you want. I'm giving you a recommendation again. If you don't agree with what I say, it's okay. Totally cool. But I'm going to share with you what we did and why. Because we knew the welcome call makes people feel that connection. It makes people feel significance. Now, what I'm going over right now are 4 of the 6 basic human needs that Tony Robbins talks about. Because these are the primal needs. The other 2, forgot exactly what he called them, but they're not as important. One is certainty and the other one is uncertainty. But I'm going to talk about certainty real quick. Certainty is being on the calls that your team does and basically plugging in so where you get to buy into the belief systems, to where you get to hear and go, wow, that makes sense, right? So certainty comes from being on the trainings. Certainty comes from the What's Up Wednesday. Certainty comes from being in your Facebook groups. Certainty comes from seeing story after story after story after story, because we started this off with people thinking pictures. So certainty comes, which is called belief, as Gabrielle just put in there. Certainty is belief. Now, what is a belief? A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty. That's what a belief is. But it's a feeling. And feelings can be changed based on our point of view or our conditioning. So, but you have to have a belief. For instance, what do you mean? Well, what do you mean it can be changed? Well, some of you all have been here while the products changed a little bit. And then it messed with your belief. Because remember, belief is a feeling of absolute certainty. It's not certainty. It's a feeling of absolute certainty. So then we change the way that we feel about things. So with that being said, guys, we knew that we had to create. So I'm not going to talk anymore about certainty. So we knew that we had to create within our system these 4 steps. Step number 1, loving connection. People need to feel that. Step number 2, they need to feel important. They need to feel significance. The goal of the welcome call is not only to find out what that person's goals and dreams are, but what does it feel like when they actually achieve it? So for instance, I saw, it's a while back, but when we talked about in the comments, why did you get started here? Somebody said they want to make an extra $500 a month. Well, why is that? More importantly, what does it feel like when you make an extra $500 and how does your life change? So with that, the next thing was people need to feel like they're not only significant, but they're contributing. For instance, and let's just use this as an example. Let's say a stay-at-home mom, and we've had many awesome ladies that got started in a team, that they're stay-at-home moms. And one of the things that when you ask them what they want, they're like, I want to be able to make my own money. I want to be able to feel like I'm contributing. I want to feel like I'm contributing to the family. Well, guys, I can tell you, I'm not a stay-at-home mom, but I am kind of a stay-at-home dad with a stay-at-home mom with us. And what I can tell you, all the things that my wife does absolutely is contributing. So many times it breaks down, and I've even caught myself doing this because I told you I'm crazy, right? But like if I say something where my wife says something that doesn't really rub me the right way, or I kind of want to be mean, I might say, well, it'd be okay if you go make some extra money. And I'm like, oh, slap me in the face. Because the bottom line is we agreed that this is the roles that we're going to have and what we're going to do here. And now I'm being a jerk, right? And she'll tell me, you're being a jerk. And I always have to apologize because I know I was being a jerk. So point being, guys, if you don't feel like you're contributing, what we do within our culture and what you have to understand is that even if you're just getting started, even if you just bring in 1 customer a month, or even if you have customers that stayed on the books, guess what? You're contributing to the big picture. And one of the things we're talking about the leadership teams is we've been talking about how do we make people feel and let them know that what they do makes a difference and what they do that matters. So let me share something with you. When you hear the word Triple Crown or the rank and all that other stuff, that is a reflection of you guys. So the beautiful part about that is that you get to say that I helped create a Triple Crown. No matter what team you're on, no matter where you are, guess what? You made a difference. Because without you and without your customers, without your people and their people and their people and their people, there aren't any Triple Crowns. So the point is that, guys, no matter where you are, this is what you have to focus in on, is the building block of the business, which is breaking new ranks for the brand new person. The brand new person is the most important rank in the company, is helping them get to the first rank. Because, guys, that's the building block. And if you can lay a brick, you can build a city. If you can lay one brick, you can build a city. And what happens is we start to look at these intergalactic ranks and stuff, and we start to compare ourselves, and we tell ourselves these stories, and we're like, well, you know, I can never do that because no. If you can help somebody hit the first rank in the company, you can go to the top. So, you know, when we were talking about this the other night, we were talking about, look, you know, Brittany and Joseph have done so many amazing things. I know Lori and her team have done so many amazing things, and Shannon and Tommy and all them, like, and we were talking about what is the thing that we can make sure that what we started with, the vision and that feeling of making people feel love and connection, significance and contribution, is for us all to come together. And that was the purpose for this call, is so where we're not talking about unity, that we're actually showing it. So Ricky had offered, he's like, well, hey, why don't we do this Monday Night Mindset call every month? Why don't we open it up for you guys? And then Judy said, hey, would you mind opening it up for everybody? And we're like, absolutely. Because we've been talking about this unity, but we have to show it. So with that, guys, there's so much value in every single one of these leaders. And if you take, and it's kind of like when you have kids, like one might be more like mom, one might be more like dad. And the goal of us is to take all the stuff that they can learn from mom and what they can learn from dad, and also take their own learning of what they learn out there. They should be able to be better than you. And what we know is that, guys, if you can pick and take parts and pieces from all the different leaders and make the best version of you, you can go to any level and absolutely become whoever you want to be. So with that being said, the last one, so I went over love and connection. We went over significance. We went over contribution and how what you do makes a difference. Even if it's, guys, if you're just drinking the coffee every month and you want to get on these calls and get value, that's awesome too. Sing Kumbaya around the fire, whatever, awesome. Guess what? That one customer, so many times at the end of the month, and leaders, you might be able to go in there and put that, if I'm telling the truth or not, but you might just be $100 or $200 away from a rank. A new person might be $100 away from hitting star. So you think that customer doesn't matter? Absolutely they do. Every single person matters. And that's what's different about who we are as a company. So with that being said, the last one is growth. And that's what this call is about. That's what, and I know many teams do different leadership trainings, as well as retreats, as well as Saturday morning trainings, at least in our team, and different people do in different times. But we do those. And guys, by the way, we're open. You can see whatever we're doing. If you go to zoomreplay.com, all the trainings are recorded there. And you can go check them out and take whatever nuggets you can take from whoever. If you're willing to sit down and watch trainings and invest in yourself, you deserve to have it. So with that being said, zoomreplay.com, all of our stuff is there. So it's wide open. You can see whatever it is. There is no secrets. Because many times when people go to the people that are higher ranked than them, and they're like, what's the secret? It's called belief and activity. So the last thing is growth. And you gotta grow. For things to change, you need to change. For things to get better, you need to get better. You know, so it's funny because I've watched over this last 2-year process. I remember Lizzie, and watching her when she started, not only did she lose an amazing amount of weight on our product, but watching her energy change. period, and watching who she is, her energy, the way she acted, the way she talked, and all that changed, and the growth that I watched her experience is what this business is about. So when you say, who are we? Who are we as a company? We are a company that we are about elevating people to the next level, whether it be in their health, it's their wealth, their finances, it could be whatever it might be. We are change agents, and we have to start thinking like that. So guys, I'm going to close it out with this, because I know I had to kind of set things up and not just go off on my normal rants and rage and all the craziness I do, because a lot of you all have no idea who in the world this guy is that's talking. If you're in other organizations, one, I want to thank and just really, I want to thank and give appreciation to, and I'm not going to name everybody, but many of the complementary leaders in other organizations that have been open and kind enough to build relationships with us and share, like Brittany and Joseph the other night, just and share their heart and their things that they're doing that are little tweaks that, guys, if we take what they're doing and add to what we're doing, boom. Like, it just makes us better. If they take the little things that we might be doing and add it to what they're doing, boom, to another level. So guys, this is what I want to close it out with. I started this call off with stories and stories that we tell ourselves. So let's talk real quick about how to train an elephant. Because guys, when you look at, how many of you all have been to the circus? Put me in the comments. And the thing is that, if you've been to the circus and you see the elephants and you're watching these big, amazing animals. And the thing that I didn't understand is that they would have these elephants sitting outside and they had a little tiny string tied to their leg. And it was tied to their leg and like put on like a little twig. It was like a little tiny stake beating the ground that they tied their leg to, and the elephant's just staying there. The elephant's just standing there, not going anywhere. They might be swaying and stuff like this. And they're sitting there, and I'm going, as a kid, I'm like, Dad, I watch these elephants pull these big ropes and pull the tents up, and they built this place. They're the ones that basically were pulling all these ropes and all this stuff. They're so strong. Why are they sitting there tied up to a little twig? Like a little tiny stick that big, beating the ground with a little tiny string, like a hay string or fishing line, for those of you that might not know what a hay string is, whatever, but little tiny, about the size of the cord, right? And they're tied to a thing. And my dad goes, when they were babies, they hooked a big old chain onto their leg. And they hooked that chain to a tree. And that elephant pulled and pulled and pulled until, they might have been bleeding. And they pulled until they realized that they cannot break the chain, that they cannot pull this chain off their leg no matter what. It doesn't matter how hard they pull, they are stuck. When that chain is tied to them and they're on that tree, they cannot get away, period. Oh my gosh, we got an audio muter out there. I heard it. So with that, so what happens is the elephant grows, they start putting smaller and smaller chains on. And what has happened is that elephant has been conditioned to believe that they cannot move, that they cannot break that chain, because that's what they were taught when they were a baby. And I'm sharing that because many of you all on this call, based on the way that your parents talk to you, based on the way that your teachers talk to you, based on whatever conditioning that you've experienced, someone told you something that you internalized and is a chain that's holding you back. Someone told you something, someone shared something with you and imported belief into you, which, what is a belief? A feeling of absolute certainty. It's a feeling of absolute certainty based on a lie. It's a feeling that I can't do more. It's a feeling that I'm not good enough. It's a feeling that's something else. And what I'm here to tell you tonight is that it's a bunch of crap. That it's just like what happened when that elephant was chained to the tree and was told that this is all they can do and that you'll never be able to whatever. Guys, you are in a model that every single one of you all are designed for greatness. You just have to see it. See, the thing is we were all built and designed for greatness, but we were conditioned for failure. We were conditioned that you're not good enough. We were conditioned that this is the case or that is the case. And it's all a bunch of lies. It's all a story you've been telling yourself. It's a story. I started this whole call off with sharing the stupid stories that we create based on whatever we're being told or however we perceive things, and it's not true. Just like my wife was like, where did you get this from, you dummy? Like, I never said nobody can come over here. I just said we're not having 50 people over here every day. And I created this whole story. What story are you using to hold yourself back? What story is it that you bought into? It's not like I can do it. It's not like there's anything that any of the leaders can do for you except give you permission to dream again. Give you permission that you are good enough and you can do this and you can make this thing happen. You have it within you. You already have every seed that you need. You already have the greatness within you. It's a matter of seeing it. Understand that it's a story you've been telling yourself, and it's time to move forward. It's time to move on, and it's time to go out there and do what we started this company for, and elevate other people and pour belief into them and let them know that we have their back. And we go out there and build this, and we create the culture that everyone is jealous of, that everybody wants to be a part of, based on the way that we treat people, based on the way that we make people feel. Because this is a reality, guys. People do not buy on logic. People buy based on emotion. So it's our job to share and transfer our belief onto them on what's possible. And guys, some of you all might go, well, you know, I haven't had the same product story that somebody else had, and I got to be a product of the product and all that. Like, I mean, guys, if you have kids, when's the last time you wore a diaper? Do you remember which one's better than what? No, you start buying Huggies, so you buy Huggies. Some people buy Love. Some people buy Pampers. What, were you a product of the product? Did you try it on first? Did you whatever? You just know that if they wear a diaper, it catches the pee and the other stuff, right? The bottom line is you know that it works. Story after story after story in our company, and it works. You just have to be the messenger. And it's really that, it's that simple, guys. We're sharing a cup of coffee. Let's go out there and change the world, guys. Love you all. Everybody have an awesome night. I'm going to unmute the call and everybody can say good night.
Thank you, Chris. Good night.
Chris, that was awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Much.
you. Thank you so much, Chris. This was incredible. Have a great night.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Chris. Good night.